What's up guys, Dylan here from Veteran Aquatics, and today we have another awesome video for you. So I went and picked up some monster cichlids the other day, and I really want to show them off to you guys. So make sure to like, comment, and subscribe, and I'll see you in just a minute. So I told you I got some monster cichlids, and I wasn't kidding. As one of the larger cichlid species, and unfortunately one of the most abused fish in the hobby, these two Oscars behind me are probably 9 inches apiece. This is a large Mayan Cichlid, he's probably a good 8. So these fish were housed together, they're getting along pretty fine. At the beginning of the intro you probably saw the Mayan and the bigger Oscar fighting. They do that every once in a while, but it's expected with large cichlids. Nobody's getting beat up. But you'll notice Fluffy's no longer in this tank. Fluffy and the big Oscar do not get along. It's unfortunate because what I was trying to do is get just a couple of very large fish in the tank. Fluffy isn't a 40 breeder by himself. That's just how it's going to be. He will go into a 75-gallon by himself once we move into the new house and get the new fish room set up. Hopefully I can get in there soon and start giving you guys a rundown of what my plans are. But yeah. I got these 3 monsters, right? So Fluffy is probably still the biggest one in terms of just body mass, but the bigger Oscar behind me is huge. So I went to the Fish Hut of New Jersey. I wasn't able to record in there just because of how busy they were. I will go back and do a fish store tour for you, but it is one of the largest stores in the Northeast in terms of just tanks and volume of fish. So they specialize mostly in African cichlids, but they do have a ton of other stuff. I was really happy this time when I went because they had a ton of Central and South American cichlids, which is really what I'm looking for. And when I saw these big Oscars, I just couldn't help but I wanted to give them a home, I wanted to give them a place. And they're awesome. You know, as soon as I come in the room, I've had them for a couple weeks now. Whenever I come in the room, they just immediately start begging for food. They're like big water dogs. Watching them hit the surface and hit a floating pellet is awesome. Now, I might get some hate for having the Mayan Cichlid in there, but that's fine. You can hate me if you want to. It works just fine, right? It's 3 fish. So this is the thing with big cichlids like this. They'll do exactly what they're doing now. They'll fight, they'll vie for territory, etc., etc. Now the thing about these 2 Oscars, it's a male and it's a female. The bigger one's the male, the smaller one's the female. That said, they're inseparable and they're doing great together. What's going to end up happening is I'm going to end up with baby Oscars eventually. And that's fine. I think it would be fun to raise them. And we'll see how it goes in terms of if I keep them, where they go. If I take them out of the tank to breed them, there's a ton of Oscars in the hobby and they're already super mistreated. This is probably the minimum I would say for 2 Oscars is a 125. By themselves, they need at least a 75, preferably a bigger tank. So if you're thinking about getting Oscars, they're awesome fish. But just make sure you have the tank size for them. Do not put an Oscar in a 55. They will outgrow it quickly. No fish grows to the size of their tank, and if anybody tells you anything else, they are dead wrong. The only way a fish will stop growing in a smaller tank is when it dies. So yes, they will not outgrow the tank because they will eventually become stressed and die. When you're buying fish, make sure you understand the tank size that you need, because otherwise you're going to end up with a big fish in a little tank. It's going to stress the fish out and it's not going to end well. But these guys are awesome. I've never actually had an Oscar before this. My wife wanted some, so when we went, you know, we always go as a family. My wife and my daughter love going to the fish store with me, which is awesome because it means I can pretty much always go. It also means that she knows I'm coming home with something new almost every single time. But I was able to get a good deal on these, and I will make a video on how to get fish for less in the future, but that is not right now. But I was able to pick these up, and I was able to pick the Mayan Cichlid up, and I think they're awesome. You know, I love my Central and South American cichlids, so having the 2 big Oscars in there and the 1 Mayan Cichlid, it just really makes this tank nice. You know, Fluffy is a gorgeous fish, he's a show-stopping fish, but he is only 1 single fish. I tried putting him in timeout, seeing if separating it would work. It did not. He still went back after the Oscar, and after I saw scales fly, I knew it was, you know, Fluffy was going to have to be by himself. He's a beautiful fish, and I love him dearly. Shout out again to Chris Chris Matsko was the one that gave me Fluffy, as well as many of the other fish that are in the 125 underneath this, and the red tail sheller fry that I have growing out in the 5-gallon now. Those are Africans. I do have a couple of Africans now, and I'm definitely going to be doing some African tanks, so make sure you stay tuned for that. That's pretty much it on the Oscars, guys. I just wanted to show you they're awesome. They're beautiful, big, puppy dog-like fish. So if you were looking for like one single fish or a pair of fish to keep in a large tank, an Oscar is an awesome option. Just make sure, like I said, your tank is large enough. So these guys, when they eat, sometimes I get splashed when they hit the surface too hard. Yeah, and you can see why. They kind of hit like a bass would hit. If any of you fish, you know how hard a bass hits when it hits the top water. It's kind of the same thing. They strike the surface and they suck it in, and they make a ginormous mess, as you can see. It's all just from feeding them now. But we'll get a little closer up. So this is the big... Actually, this is the female. Yep, this is the big female. So I mixed them up. The big one's the female. This one is the male. If you guys don't know how to sex Oscars, if you can see it, you'll see that little tiny spike coming out. That shows that it's a male Oscar. The female clearly does not have that. She's just got another larger hole. But yeah, beautiful, beautiful fish. Their fins were a little tore up when I got them. They've healed up nicely. A little bit of Melafix and some salt and some nice water changes. But these guys are probably going to breed. They were inseparable in the store, and they're still inseparable. They stay next to each other all the time. They do bicker a little bit, but that's what happens with Oscars. I am by no means a super experienced Oscar keeper. I did the research. I knew about them well prior to getting them. And there's that Mayan Cichlid. He's still a little beat up because he won't stop messing with the Oscar, but he doesn't win those fights. These are really pretty fish too. They had another one. I considered getting them, but they were both females, and because of that I wasn't particularly interested. I thought, you know, it's a 125, it's a big tank, but it's not a 300 gallon, it's not a 600 gallon tank. You can only put so many big fish even in a 125, and you can see I overfilled the tank slightly up there. I actually almost like flooded the floor. Fortunately, you know, I caught it in time. But go back to my 5 tips video and you'll see, watch your tank when you're filling it or you will overfill it. Alright guys, that's it for today. If you enjoyed the video, make sure to like, comment, and subscribe to the channel. I'm so close to 500, which is awesome. My birthday is July 22nd. So if we can blow past 600 by my birthday, I'll be ecstatic. Thank you guys so much for watching. As always, have a phenomenal day.